What's going on, guys? Welcome to How to Live the Freedom Lifestyle. So in this video here, we're going to be breaking down what the freedom lifestyle is, how to define it for yourself, and some tips around going about the process of living that freedom lifestyle. So when Kevin and I first got into this online business stuff, we kind of figured, hey, we want freedom. We want to be able to do whatever we want with our time, where we want to be able to go wherever we want to, and we want to be able to work as much as we want as well. So we went about that process, and we've traveled the world at this point, and we've learned a few things along the way, so we wanted to share that in this video here. So what is the freedom lifestyle? Well, it's the idea that you get to design your own life without the influence of others' designs on it. But is that even possible? I mean, we get told we need to go to university, we need to study really hard, get a part-time job, get a full-time job at some corporation, working in an office all day, watching our lives slide by so we can buy a nice house and a car and then retire and then die. But the reason people want us to do that is so that we're able to create value for them, right? We're working for their businesses so they get to make all of the money, spend it on themselves and do whatever they want whilst we're slaving away for them. So you've probably heard that saying, right? You're either living on your dreams, working on your dreams, or you're living or working for someone else's. And that's really what it comes down to, because everyone at the end of the day wants as much freedom in their lives as possible. And because we live in a capitalist society, that freedom comes from money. But we don't need to exchange our time for money. That's not true anymore. Because we have the power of the internet at our disposal, we can use the internet to leverage the time that we have to create a system that makes money for us. So what the freedom lifestyle could mean and what that system generates is freedom. It could mean travel full-time, partying, spend more time with your family, snowboarding 6 months out of the year. I know someone that does that without looking at your laptop. Those drawn to online business are always more drawn to freedom over the security of having a job, which does have some drawbacks that we need to accept, right? It means we need to transform into the person who's able to design their own life through creating systems that work for them in generating value, because it takes a certain amount of effort, a certain type of person to be able to implement this building of the system and create that system that drives the freedom. You can't just be some lazy slug sitting at home doing nothing, getting drunk all day. You need to actually put in the work, right, in order to build the system in the first place. But once it is built, it does generate that freedom and allow you to do what you want with your life. The most important thing that we're going to help you steer away from, though, is creating a job for yourself. What we're doing here is creating a system that generates money for us so we can do what we want. And that's why it's not so important that that system is something that you're super passionate about. At the end of the day, it just needs to be something that generates revenue for us, right? But the freedom lifestyle isn't normal. Society already has a plan for you, and here's what that plan is. Get a formal education. Get a job doing something as a cog in the greater whole. Buy stuff, lots of stuff, and teach your kids to do the same thing. This is what society wants you to do because it perpetuates the system. We're self-replicating creatures. We want to keep doing the same thing and build up the greater whole so that we can all live within society. And this is a good thing. This is the reason we have society. This is the reason the capitalistic system is working. But at the end of the day, do you really want to get a job doing something that doesn't excite you, doing something that makes you not want to wake up every day, and buying stuff that you don't even want or need when you could be spending that money on things that actually make you enjoy your life even more? Because a part of life is enjoyment, a part of life is growth, and we can't get that growth through normal everyday jobs that we would have to do in order to go through society's plan. So that's why we're the type of people that need a different plan. We're the type of people that need freedom, and to get freedom we need to build a system that does that for us. So you need to figure out what that plan is for you. Rather than just going along with society's plan, you need to come up with something that excites you, makes you want to get up and work on it every day. Because what we all really want is to get the freedom to do what you want, when you want, where you want, with whom you want. Work on something that gets you up every day excited. Buy things you actually want and need for yourselves and others, and experience as much of life as possible. Those are some generalizations around what that freedom lifestyle looks for most of us who get into this online business stuff, and that's probably what you want as well in some way or another. But how do you get there? Well, my plan for me was to travel the world, party as much as possible, build something great, eat the best food, work with my friends, meet lots of girls and hang out with those I like, experience everything that life has to offer. But to get there, it does take a certain amount of effort. To take control of your life's plan, you need to transform, and this requires going through the process. No one is above the process. The process doesn't care, it just is. So if you want what it can deliver, you need to take the steps and walk down the narrow path. In this course, we're revealing that process to you in detail with nothing left out. But are you ready to take control of the plan for your life? Because we can give you all of the steps. We can give you every single strategy and tactic that you need to know to build your ideal life. But you're the one that's still going to be going through those processes and steps to achieve that. So you need to figure out why you want this so you can have that internal inspiration and motivation to actually go out there and achieve that. And to get that inspiration, you are going to need to transform your thoughts, feelings, behaviors, and we're going to get into how to do that. For me, I started off working from my mum's house for the first kind of 10 months of my business, and it took a lot of effort to figure out the process. I had a course that was teaching me some of the things but didn't have all of the content I needed, and I had to go out there and figure out how to do things myself with the basic information that I had. And step by step, I went through all of the failures, made all of the mistakes, and I figured out a few things that worked really well, and I was able to slowly get sales. But it took me a long time to get to the point where I was earning enough money to do what I wanted to do, and that's just because I didn't have the process that I'm about to reveal to you as we go through the weeks of this course. But if you work as hard as I did and you implement as much as I did, you are going to get there. And in all honesty, during this period, I was probably only working a few hours a day anyway, because what happens is when you have all of the time in the world, when you have all of the time in the day, you end up wasting a lot of that time too. So all you really need is a few hours a day to go through the process and get results a lot faster than I did. But at the end of the day, you need to commit to that process, commit to building that lifestyle you want, or you are going to get stuck in society's plan for you. But eventually I was able to start traveling the world. I went to Thailand, Melbourne, Las Vegas, Orlando, Florida, and then I ended up in the UK and finally went through to Amsterdam and then Budapest, where I was living with these mates here, building our businesses in a hustle house where all we were to do pretty much is work a few hours each day, travel around the city and party a little bit too much. This is an example of some of the partying that we did. All these shots were very, very cheap, so don't worry too much. They didn't break the bank. And we probably spent a little bit too much time in the bars and having a good time. But also during this period, I did a lot of travel. I actually went to Tokyo, Japan, and Orlando, Florida, like I mentioned. We went to Disneyland in both places. So I went to Disneyland a few times in 1 year, which was a little bit over the top, I think. And I was able to take my mum with me to Japan, who you can see here with the red scarf. And that was really awesome. It's always great to do stuff for your family, and I think it's great to give back to people that are your friends or your family or even just random strangers on the street. Charity is really important, and of course giving back to your parents who have given you so much is so key, and it's the best feeling in the world. Then we would work in cafes all the time. As you can see here, an example of a nice cafe. The coffee here was amazing, and definitely motivated you to work when you're sitting in a nice environment with nice music and good people to chat to as you go. And eventually I kind of stopped that traveling and party lifestyle and started living with my girlfriend. We're living in Krakow here at the moment. We've been able to build a pretty cool lifestyle. And yeah, traveling around a little bit as well. This was an awesome view, probably the best coffee I had. It was iced coffee, of course, pretty hot in the Mediterranean and Scotland there. But yeah, awesome views are so key. Bring up some inspiration, and it's always a good time. And of course you have to drink a lot when you travel, otherwise you're not really getting the full enjoyment experience. And yeah, just taking pictures of cool monuments and making videos is something I really love doing at the moment. Of course, especially for you guys, I want to create as much content as I can, make sure I'm giving you as much value as possible in this course and actually helping you go through that process. So we're constantly creating new content and new locations, and sometimes in the studio as well, just to make sure we can get that consistency of content out there. And yeah, it's something I'm really loving, and I've been loving for a few years now, so I'm going to keep doing this for a long time. I think I need to upgrade a few cameras. This was actually a few cameras ago, but always getting new equipment. I'm always breaking or losing it or something. But Then here I am sitting in a cafe in my natural environment, planning out some content for you guys. So this is pretty much my lifestyle right now. It's really great, being able to choose where you want to work, what you want to work on, and who you want to work with. And where I want to work is where I am usually in cafes or in the office with the laptop and just working away on content. This was a laptop ago as well, no longer have the Mac. Sadly, I changed. I wasn't really a big fan of the operating system. I'm more of a Microsoft guy myself. So this is what my reality is now, guys. I can wake up whenever I want. I can go anywhere I want. I can choose what I want to work on, who I want to work with, and where I do that work. So the freedom to choose is what we all crave, right? The type of people that get into this online business stuff crave that freedom to choose what we do and how we live our lives. And you can do that. You have the power to do that if you go through this process, implement the steps, and then you're going to get the results. And in reality, I'm not the smartest guy in the world. I'm not super amazing. I'm not special. All I did was go through the process. I didn't even work harder than everyone else. I just went through the steps diligently, consistently, and I got there. And you're going to be able to get there a lot faster by following the steps laid out in this course, because we've gone into depth. We've broken down everything step by step in the right order. So you're going to know what to do, when to do it. And all it took, was the following process. It really is that simple. So I hope you guys are getting excited about this. I hope you're thinking about what that ideal lifestyle looks for you, and I hope you're ready to implement it. So how much money do you need to live it? Well, it's really subjective, right? Because it all depends on what our goals are. The hedonistic treadmill also plays a big role here too, because the more money you make, the more you want to make. The more you do and achieve, the more you want to do and achieve. And that's really just a symptom of being human. We all have that same feeling. We always want more, and that's just the way that we're designed. Because if we weren't designed that way, then we wouldn't make so much progress across society over human beings' existence, right? So let's assume freedom for you means traveling to a new country every few months and working 1 hour per day. That's really what it meant for me, so that's why I'm using that example. And you can easily do that, making as little as $1,000 per week profit. As soon as I got to that point, I was traveling around doing whatever I wanted and barely working. But of course, as you do that and as you achieve those things, you're going to want more and more and more, and it's going to require more. And that really just means a bigger system. So what you're doing is you're just building the system bigger over time, building more scaling, more automation, making the system drive more revenue so you can do more of what you want to do. But you really need to define what freedom is for you. Because your vision for the future is going to be different for everyone else, and you need to figure out right now what is the end goal you have in building your drop servicing business. Don't just say more money, really paint a picture for what you want your ideal day to look like. Pause this video right now and write down what that vision is. Trust me, it'll help make a reality. When you write something down and you read it every day, it keeps that vision in your mind. And then you're more likely to take the actions necessary to achieve that vision. Because if that vision really truly excites you, then it's going to draw up that emotion that will get your thinking, rational brain figuring out how to get there, and your emotional brain motivating you to take the actions to get there. So it's really a combination of getting that motivation through your emotional side and then figuring out how to do it with the rational side. And we've provided you with all of the steps in this course, everything you need to know in terms of the rational plan, step by step, to get you to the end goal. But it's your job at the end of the day to come up with that emotion side, because we can provide you with all of the motivation and inspiration and ideas in the world, and we're going to. That's really my goal here with you, but you have to buy in as well. I'm fully bought into this. I want you to fully be bought into this so we can work together on getting to the end goal for you. And we're going to really create a transformation here. It's going to take some effort, but once we get there, it's going to be so worth it to know that you achieved what you wanted to achieve. So what freedom is to me? When I started my first business, I just wanted to make enough to travel around the world and party as much as possible, like I said before. I built my business in a way that would allow me to do that, automating everything as fast as possible, making just enough to be able to achieve that lifestyle. And you don't need to aim to make millions of dollars and buy Lamborghinis like everyone else, every other guru out there you see selling courses. Your freedom lifestyle could involve anything that's actually important to you. but it must be exciting to you, because we're creating that motivation and inspiration that's going to drive you to action. You need to create a compelling vision for your future, a clear picture you can point all of your actions towards. Writing this down and really picturing the amazing feeling you're going to get when you achieve it compared to the massive pain you'll get if you don't. This will help drive your actions towards that vision and away from the painful possibility of failure. Because the secret's true, but only in that believing in your compelling vision will drive your actions forward. You need to create that vision, first of all, that really compels you to action, and then you're going to be driven to start acting towards it. So the people that really believe in the secret that you can just think something and it manifests without doing anything, well, that's just not true, right? Because actions have consequences. You can't think something and then it happens. We're not telepathic. You need to think something and then go out and take the actions to achieve it. So now I wanted to give you in this part of the video some freedom lifestyle tips, because I've spoken a little bit about the freedom lifestyle, giving you an idea on what that means, and really it's completely subjective to the individual. For me, it was traveling around and enjoying myself. Whatever it is for you, it could be giving to charity, something awesome like that. But at the end of the day, you just need to make sure that you come up with that compelling vision of the freedom lifestyle, and then come up with all of the painful thoughts and feelings around not achieving it, and all of the pleasurable, great feelings around actually achieving it. And that'll push you away from and drive you towards what you really want. But let's get into some tips around living the freedom lifestyle. So when booking in a hotel, always make good use of the notes section. So whenever you're on the website for any hotel making a booking, you can just fill in that note section and say something like, oh hey, it's mine and my girlfriend's anniversary right now. Anything you could do to make it extra special for us would be amazing. And just having that, anything you could do, that line, along with any excuse for them doing something extra for you, often leads to them doing extra things for you, whether it be leaving chocolates on your beds or upgrading you to a presidential suite. There's so many things that happen when you just add this thing there, and it all just comes down to asking for stuff, right? The more you ask, the more you get. So you have the opportunity to ask for stuff in that notes section. I recommend you use your imagination and give it a try. Also, instead of Airbnb, you can find the local sites in whatever city you're going to go to and Facebook groups for better prices. You can rent out places for 3 months, 6 months, whatever it may be, sometimes even on a weekly basis at a much lower price than you get from Airbnb, because Airbnb is a little overpriced. And it's really easy to find these. Just Google apartments and then the city you're looking for, and then you can even Google apartments in the language of the country in the city that you're looking for, and then you can also do the same thing within Facebook itself, and you'll come out with lots of groups looking for stuff. Also, don't forget to do cool stuff. Limit your work hours so you get more done in less time, giving yourself more time to do cool stuff, right? Because I think that when we give ourselves all the time in the day, we end up just wasting our time. But if we create some constrictions around how much time we're going to invest in given tasks, we're going to make sure that we get things done a lot faster, so we have more time to do the cooler things that we really want to do. Now, get with other business people as well who do online stuff and get a flat together, because what happens is it ends up less expensive when you're all flatting together, and you also have a daily mastermind, because when you're living with a bunch of other people doing a similar thing to you, they're going to have similar goals, similar dreams, and similar activities. You're going to be able to share ideas and share that motivation and drive and get a lot more achieved. I know whenever I have been living with other business people, I was able to get a lot more done and achieve a lot more because I saw all of the cool stuff they were doing, and it compelled me to do cool stuff as well. Then, of course, you can use Airbnb. It's very easy to stay months in each city, and we usually use Airbnb, to be honest, most of the time we were traveling around the world. So you can rent a flat for 1 month at least to get a big discount, and then you can negotiate even better prices from there. And also be nice to the landlord and clean, so you get good reviews and can get cheaper prices for your next booking. Go to cheaper cities as well for lower living costs, since you can choose where to go. For example, right now I'm in Krakow in Poland. My living expenses here, I believe, are around 4 times cheaper than they would be in major cities in the US. So it's so much cheaper to live in a lower price country. Even when you are making a lot of money, it goes a lot longer, and you have more money to invest in like investments and savings and everything. You spend less money, even though you're living a really, really nice lifestyle. Also, go to a city with lots of online business entrepreneurs like you to meet and mastermind in general. So we have some cities to recommend for this. Here's a list of all the cities that we can recommend as being really, really great for having other entrepreneurs there that you can set up places to stay with. And when choosing a city, use websites like Nomad List to consider the level of English, digital entrepreneur community, living costs, internet speed, activities and things to do. So what you'll need to do to achieve the freedom lifestyle is define what that ideal day will look like once you achieve the freedom lifestyle, figure out what you need to achieve it in terms of time and money, then determine what you need to do to get that time and money, right? Then come back and review your vision every single day to build that motivation. And make sure you attach massive pleasure to success and massive pain to failure in that plan. And if you implement that plan, you will get success. So the action steps for this video: define what freedom is for you, write down what your freedom lifestyle is going to involve, and what does that ideal day look like for you. Awesome. So I hope that video is helpful, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.